Good afternoon and welcome. Today's presentation is on the 2022 Well Wisconsin program, and this webinar is designed for all of our programs. With that said, my name is Randy Porter. I am a trust fund specialist with the State of Wisconsin Department of Employee Trust Funds. I'm part of the Outreach and Education Department of the Member Services Bureau. Today we have a couple panelists with us today, Molly and Christy. At this point, Molly, could you give yourself an introduction, please?
You bet. Thanks, Randy. Good afternoon, everybody. So happy to be here with you all. My name is Molly Heisterkamp, and I'm the Wellness and Disease Management Program Manager here at the Wisconsin Department of Employee Trust Funds, where I oversee the Well Wisconsin program and the contract that we have with our program administrator, WebMD. And that's where Christy joins us from. So, Christy, go ahead and give a little introduction of yourself as well, please.
Great. Thank you, Molly and Randy. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Friday to everybody. My name is Christy Mulcahy. I am the program manager for, I work through WebMD, but I'm the program manager for the Well Wisconsin contract with the state and work very closely with Molly, working through the contract with that, and glad to be here this afternoon. Again, welcome, and we'll walk through our 2022 Well Wisconsin program and what that looks like for next year. All right, so a couple of dates we want to just highlight here, and the first one listed is we're actually still continuing with our, we've got one more week in our 2021 program. So the deadline for 2021 is October 8th, which is a week from today. So there is still time. If you haven't got your incentive, there is still time, a week left to get that in if you can and get into your portal. You can check that out by looking in your rewards tab to see if you have got anything done or if you don't remember exactly. So go through there and see if you've got some things to accomplish yet you can do in a week. I would suggest if you still have some activity, a wellness activity to do, you can pull up some of the Well Wisconsin radio sessions and listen to two of those. And that would then be your well-being activity. So if you haven't got any of those done and you've still been waiting for that, that's something you could still do within the week. So I just wanted to highlight that. So we still got a week left. But then starting out for our 2022 incentive year, we do start get employers in late November. They'll start requesting any 2022 on-site health screenings. As most of you know, we those have decreased through the years or over the last year just due to COVID, but we have increased some this year. And so if you are interested in that, you're going to want to watch for seeing if your employer has any of those scheduled. January 1st, we'll be launching the 2022 program. So you can get on your portal right away, January 1st, and check out the program for 2022 and start right in if you want. And about sometime mid-January of next year, we'll also be sending out home mailers, and that'll be highlighting the whole 2022 program. So watch for that because it does give you all the details that you would need to complete the program. And then about February, you'll see some screenings being started up for on-site health screening. So just be aware of that if you do like to attend those and if you if there's any scheduled around your area. So watch for those in February. You can go on the portal to see what is scheduled around your area. You would just click on the biometric screenings. All right, so starting next year, you do get a little extra time because we do have the deadline of October 14th. So that is a big, you want to mark that in your calendar. Make sure we want to make sure that you get everything done by the 14th, which is again a little bit around the same time. You got an extra week from this year than this year. And also just, really want to encourage everybody to get in there right away in January so you can just really work through some of those. Just go through the portal, see what's available. Don't, if you have to, wait till the end, but we really want you to get in there in January. But you do have the 14th to turn everything in. All right, so if you've done the program over the last few years, you are very familiar with it. and not a lot has changed as far as the activities, the 3 steps that you need to take to earn the $150 gift card. So the first thing you need to do, actually you can do these in any order, but there are 3 things that need to be accomplished. One of them is the health check, and there's some options here for that. You can do one of those biometric screenings, which happens to, that we just talked about, that if your employer does schedule those on site, you could sign up for one of those. There's also an option of a home test kit, which you can order on the portal as well, and you'll get something sent to your home. You'll do your own blood stick of your finger and then send that. There's directions right on there, and you'll send that back in. Or you can also just fill out a healthcare provider form. So if you're up to date with all your preventive healthcare and screenings, and you've seen your doctor on a regular basis, you can just fill out that provider form and turn it in. Another option is getting a dental exam, and you can report that, or completing one coaching call with our coaches. The other thing that we ask for you to do is do the online health questionnaire, which is the health assessment. This takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So we want you to get in there and answer some health questions. And then complete one activity of our well-being activities. Again, there's several to choose from to complete one of those. There's definitely something for everybody there. So you want to make sure that you get in there and check that out right away in January. All right. So we do have the same portal. Nothing's really changed as far as getting into the portal, and a lot of the same look that you'll see. You don't need to create, if you have been into the portal this year, you don't need to create a new login, which is, really good news for everybody. You will need to take that, retake that health assessment. So just so you know that if you did take the health assessment this year to get credit, you will have to retake it again next year. So really encourage you just on a regular basis, just go in there, do it right away at the beginning of the year, get in there and take that health assessment. As you can see, the portal this is how you get in to sign up. If you haven't done anything up until this point, you can go in and then just create an account. So just follow the directions once you hit that create account. Otherwise, if you have, then you can just sign in like normal and use those same sign in login information that you've had for the last year. All right, some of our well-being activities. Like I said, there's lots to choose from. We have several options, and hopefully there's something for everybody. We do have portal challenges throughout the year. You'll see, like an example is our invitational step challenge. You'll see that coming up a couple times next year, so watch for those dates in 2022. This can be a really fun challenge if you get you put some teams together and you get to compete against some teams, and it's all about getting your steps in. So it's just a lot of fun, and we like to do it in the spring, and I think we'll be doing it in the fall again next year. So good timing to get outside and get your steps in. We have the Well Wisconsin Radio that will continue to, we have a lot of great topics throughout the year for that, and you can listen to 2 episodes for credit. The Daily Habits is another thing that's on the portal that just is tracking. You can there's all kinds of different options on there to track if you want to, whatever you would like to track. Maybe it's exercise, maybe it's some stress, maybe it's different, nutritional type things. So completing one of those is also a well-being activity. And then we also do have employer-sponsored activities, so you can check in with your employer to see if they're participating in any of these. And if you complete that at your employer site, then you get credit. And then completing the 3 coaching calls as well. And just to make note, if you do one of the coaching calls, you'll get that health check credit. And then if you continue with 2 more calls, then you've also got your well-being activity completed. So that'll, and that was the same as this year as well. So nothing's changed there. Okay. And just to highlight our coaching, we do have, again, completing that 1 call for your health check and then the 2 more for, to do your well-being activity. And right on the site, you can find out more about health coaching if you're interested. Right on the portal, there's a card that says learn more about coaching. And we also do have a Well Wisconsin radio episode about coaching. So we've Morgan, who hosts that, has interviewed one of our health coaches and really just kind of getting into what is health coaching and what's it about. Very easy to sign up for it. And so if you're interested in that, it's no cost to you. It's part of the program. And you can message a coach or go ahead and give that the phone number a call and get health coaching set up on the through the phone. All right. Questions if I completed something. You want to just look at that dashboard and go right to that rewards tab, and that's going to tell you where you're at with your activity. So you just click on that and you're going to see it basically shows a check mark. So if you've done the health assessment, it's going to say done and a check mark. If you've done a health screening, it's going to say done and it shows a check mark. So really easy to follow in that rewards tab, but that's the place you want to go to kind of find out. I mean, if you're still even wondering for this year, that's still the place to go to find out where you're at and what you might need to still complete. But next year it'll be the same thing. So look on that dashboard for that rewards tab. And just a reminder, I'm sure if you've received a lot of emails or other communications from us, we usually highlight that we do have the mobile app. So you can get on and get that downloaded onto your phone through the regular stores that you find your programs. And then there is a code to use for getting that set up on your phone, and that is SOWI is the code. But very easy to do, so you can have access to everything on your phone, which is really nice. We all have our phones with us all the time. And you can also sync up any trackers. So be aware of that. There's some instructions on the portal. So if you, a lot of you like to maybe use your phone for some tracking, or you have Fitbits or Apple Watches, there's different ways that you can get those synced up as well. And especially when you're doing that, if you get in the step challenge, that's great because you can get that synced in and it'll automatically get your steps in there. So just watch for that. You can, again, get to on the portal, there's instructions for different trackers, and make sure you get those synced up if you'd like to use that. All right, and then just another reminder as well that you can contact us on every page of the portal. At the bottom, there's a contact us, and it will, even when you go to the landing page, so you might, even if let's say you don't have your account set up yet, go down to that contact us and you can send in an email through that, or you can call our customer service number, which is listed here. It's also on that contact us piece if you click on that. So you can definitely talk to them if you are having problems with getting your account set up. Be sure to call our number. They have some sight lines to see what's going on to help you walk you through that. Again, if you have other questions, be sure to call and we can get those answered for you. But that you'll find at each bottom of the page, and also the fact that you could, on each of the pages, you'll see policies if you're interested in that. So you can go into our privacy policy if you're concerned about that. And then also, if you needed to change your language to Spanish, you can change it at that point too. And that, again, is on the landing page and then also on each of the pages in the portal once you get into it. But you can get into that without even having your account set up. So, so easily to find, but please call that number if you have any questions whatsoever. All right, and that is the overall program for our 2022. I will turn it back over and to Randy here and see if there's, if you've got, we'll open up to questions here probably in a minute, I think.
Absolutely. And I thank you, Christy. It was nice to see how all the pieces to the puzzle work there with the portal and the phone apps and whatnot. So a little bit more reassuring, I feel, after seeing the tool. So that's good stuff. With that said, I want to talk about some of the resources that we do have available to you before we get to your questions. And of course, we have that 2-minute video, that enrollment preview video, making you aware of the changes. You can find that right on our homepage there. Of course, at this point, we are in that open enrollment that started September 27th and will run through October 22nd. And with that said, let's look at some of these resources. And the open enrollment preview video, 2 minutes, basically discusses the changes associated with the 2022 health benefits for 2022. You're right, that gets to be a little bit redundant with all the twos. With that said, we've got these health benefit webinars that we've been doing for you. A majority of them consist of the health insurance and pharmacy benefits for our active members. And then there is one that we do separately for the retirees. And then of course we have a webinar on the dental and the supplemental programs, the pre-tax savings accounts, and of course the one that we just experienced today, the wellness program. But in addition to the webinars that we are doing, the vendors are all also participating. So if you had a question specific to a vendor such as Dean Health Insurance, take a look at our website under the Member Education tab, click on Events, and just scroll through and you'll see the various webinars that are available to you. And if there's something that you feel you should be participating in, by all means, sign up and continue your education with the knowledge of that additional resource. Beyond that, we have created a new Health Benefits Education Center on our website, and it's going to provide some help with common ailments, if you will, some resources for those sick kids or upper respiratory infections, headaches, and migraines. It's going to give you some treatment options as well as when you should be contacting the doctor along that path. And of course, that is found at etf.wi.gov/health benefits education. A lot of resources there. So you found our homepage, /health to get to the health landing page. With that said, the handouts, as I mentioned, state employees for 2022 and locals, those are attached. They will also be sent with the meeting materials. You'll see the PDF versions there. And then the big thing I think that probably could be offered is that we get some questions that are pretty specific. Look at the offerings that those health plans and vendors are providing and participate in their webinars also. I think that would help all of us along the path. Next steps, as I mentioned, we're in the middle of that open enrollment. It's going to run until October 22nd. Please visit our website or attend those additional benefit fairs if you feel is applicable. And then currently, you can contact your vendor or your employer benefit specialist with specific questions that you may have.
Randy, I'll just add the web address for our new Well Wisconsin for Members webpage that we're really pleased. It was just actually released this summer. It's a great go-to resource for all things Well Wisconsin, so that you can get information prior to even creating an account on the WebMD platform. And that website is etf.wi.gov/well-wisconsin-members. And you can just search too on the ETF website for Well Wisconsin and it'll pop up that way as well. But just wanted to let folks know about this new resource.
At this point, we were allotted an hour. We resolve things quicker than that, and that's an all right day. So with that said, Molly, Christy, I do thank you for your participation, your expertise in today's presentation. It is much appreciated, and I hope our members got value out of your responses. So thank you for that. Beyond that, for those that you attended, I thank you for taking time out of your day to learn more about the benefits that you are entitled to. Hopefully the webinar brought some clarity and minimized some of the confusion in regards to the process and what you needed to do to get that $150 Well Wisconsin incentive. And with that said, I am going to conclude today's presentation. Please, as you exit out today, remember that survey and help us get better for you. I thank you. Stay safe and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.